Takes a bit
Thank
to prepare the stream. And then you can launch into it, and that way we've got that for sharing afterwards.
That's good.
Okay, gentlemen, you're on screen.
All right. Welcome everyone to the Kuker-Ranken Lunch and Learn every Wednesday at noon Pacific Daylight Time. We meet here to provide you, 15 to 25-minute presentations on various hardware and software tools relating to the precision industry, specifically focused on civil engineering, GIS professionals, surveyors, and drone pilots. So today we're going to be joined by Adam Huff, and he is going to take us through the Leica Icon software. It's one of the software tools used extensively on various types of construction projects. And so with that, Adam, I'm just going to go ahead and turn everything right over to you. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks everyone for being with us. My name is Adam Huff with Kuker-Ranken. Basically, it's a nice brief overview of Icon. I'm going to start sharing. Everyone see that?
Looks great.
Okay. All right. So basically what the purpose of this webinar is just to give a basic introduction of the Leica Icon. So first off, what does Icon stand for? It stands for Intelligent Construction. What is Leica Icon? It's an ecosystem of software and equipment for the construction industry, designed to take the guesswork out of your project and make for quicker and more accurate jobs. Who is Icon designed for? Icon's designed for general contractors, concrete contractors, MEP or mechanical and electrical plumbing trades, HVAC or heating, ventilation, and air conditioning trades, BIM, building information modeling, and VDC or visual design and construction. So why should you use Icon? Well, as changes in building construction industry, they're affecting contractors. They're facing more financial penalties from clients, and if they're not completed on time, within budget, to specifications, and without and you can do it without quality being compromised. So you're able to do your jobs quicker and more precise, and without having any without having as much financial responsibility and fines. What's the equipment? We have robotic total stations, so able to do things with one person. Manual total stations are a two-man crew. You have GNSS receivers, machine control, and data collectors. A lot of the equipment, it looks exactly the same as what you would see for surveyors. Icon's built for construction, people in the construction industry. So it's going to give you a little bit more simple, easier breakdown to make things a little bit more efficient for you. So what is it that you can do with Icon? There's a lot of things you're able to do with it. You can do layout lines. You can do control lines, parallels, perpendiculars, arch to structures and relationships to them, horizontal and vertical offsets. You can stake out strings to mark elevation or curb reference, aligning columns and anchor bolt patterns. You can monitor offset value to speed up form, work erection, calculate volume of stockpile or pit comparison between surfaces. You can do and apply compact factor relations for your materials. So let's see, we can also define grades for excavations, secure navigation to correct elevation and position in slope, check distances, horizontal, vertical grades, angles, check area and perimeter in 2D and in 3D. Info shows a resultant glance and support with graphics and map. Verify on-site correct placement of walls, formwork, columns, pipes, and decide in the field based facts rather than estimates. So you're able to kind of know exactly where things sit. You import your blueprints and you can see exactly where things need to go, where to have things aligned. You can simply lay out sketch, import points directly to the map, and typically navigate to select hanger slit, insert conduit outlet, auto select next point from list or the nearest from select location, optimize in out left display, viewing. You can color code your points to so you know which ones they are, integrate tolerance checks, increase precision and reduce errors, capture points, lines, arcs in one step, and apply codes, point and measurements. So there are a lot of things that are you're able to do with Icon, and it makes things a lot easier and a lot faster. Because you're doing it in the system, it'll take you exactly where things need to go. And it'll take you at a point. There's a electrician who uses it to know where the conduits go when they're first laying the foundation down. They can make the marks and just put it in there and walk over and make the mark, boom, and it tells you exactly where to go. And so it makes running through that a lot faster. And that's just kind of one example, but there's a lot of things that you're able to do with Icon. It's built to make your life easier and faster. The very fast presentation. It's just basically a simple overview of what you were able to do with it, and kind of what are some of the things that you're able to do and where the machines are. We'll be doing definitely more of these, and I want to thank everyone for joining. And if you have any questions, let me know.
I've got a couple questions for you, Adam. One of the questions I had is, you mentioned you got an electrician that was using Icon to help with the layout and placement of
Yes.
conduit and placement of boxes. So would the workflow be then they designate all of this in Icon and then hand this off to the sub or to the journeyman or the master that's doing the actual installation?
So basically what they're doing is they're getting they from CAD, they're getting the blueprints, it's getting imported into it. And so they know the points they're able to do. And once they set up their total station, they have a robotic total station, and all they have to do is set that up where it's correct. You walk around with your prism and your controller on it, and it will tell you hit the point, and it's going to tell you need to walk 20 feet this way and 3 feet this way. And then they can go there, and then they're just marking it with paint, and they can just walk around the whole site and then know exactly where they're able to put everything they are. And they don't need, they're just marking everything for where, when they're building the frame, that's where the conduits and everything go.
Okay, so it sounds to me like Icon is an input and output tool. So you can use it for input for your BIM, your building information modeling system,
Yep.
but also use as output for the subs that are on the job site to know where the electrical, sewer, water, et cetera, need to go. So it provides that output. How hard is it to learn Icon? I know you started working with Icon a couple of months ago. Can you tell me a little bit about the learning curve, how difficult it might be?
Actually they make Icon, it's really pictures. It's staking, it's, as built, you're doing things, they run through, they make it very easy to pick up and use. So in terms of ease of use and getting and using it and the learning curve, it's actually very it's designed for that learning curve to be lower. I'm still learning the industry, and then I'm learning Icon. But in terms of Icon, once you get into the system, if it's as built, you know, you can boom, boom, boom. If you're trying to know, you know, your what your fill is, you know, it's just staking and going and just inputting the data, and it does a lot of basically everything for you. And so it makes, you know, it's really easy to actually learn.
So would you say, is it fair to say it's built for construction workers and not for engineers?
Built for construction workers, not for engineers. It's kind
I
of,
mean, it's
you
not,
know,
that's not to demean a construction worker, but
no, not at all.
let's face it, there's, you know,
You
there
know,
are others.
yeah. Then you know, they have a lot that they're doing, and the last thing they want to be doing is sitting and reading books and trying to learn as much, you know, and study on equipment where, you know, they're wanting to kind of pick it up. And I mean, it's really, you know, better if what I want to do, you hit the button and start going about it.
From your experience, would you say that Icon is intuitive to use?
Yes, very intuitive.
Because I know that, you know, I've worked with, for example, Leica Infinity, which is definitely not a pick it up and be operating in a couple of hours tool. That's
No.
it seems like with all of its modules, it's several days of learning. So Icon's not in that same.
No. Yeah, you can, I mean, to learn everything, it's gonna, you know, take a little while, but if there's certain things you need to do, I mean, it's a very simple, easy setup, and it's not complicated whatsoever. If you need to stake, you're gonna hit stake point and go do that. If you're gonna do layouts or anything, you do it. And as far as hitting the points like the electrician, you just hit the point. And then when you want the next one, you hit the next point and go to the next point. And you just go boom, 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 right around the
Okay.
build site.
Does it look like, so, you know, I'm not familiar with Icon. I'm getting my cues on Icon entirely from you, but does Icon allow for outputs that would be beneficial or additions or supplementals for a BIM book as you're turning over your construction book to the final phases of construction to help maintenance engineers and so forth know where everything inside the building is? They'd be able to find, say, after all the drywall has gone up, is Icon going to help an engineer understand where the conduit is or where the PEX is and
Yeah.
so forth in the walls?
It's going to be able to do that. It's going to be able to help you set up. You can even have it set up to you know, help you put where you know, where certain things are. And it's designed, you know, because it's also designed for the MEP trade. So it is designed to kind of help you once drywall is up to put that positioning and have everything go where it needs to go.
Okay, great. Does Icon provide any tools similar to Infinity where, for example, we might be able to check the level of a slab or the surface of the slab? Does it have some of those kinds of tools?
Yep. You can check, so you can check you can check the level, yes.
Okay, and that's just in using the tools that you'd mentioned earlier. One thing that I wasn't clear on, it didn't feel like Icon had any inputs that would be beneficial for somebody that was, say, bringing an unmanned aircraft into the operation. Does Icon have inputs that function with drones at all, or is it kind of, you know, separate away from the drone?
I think it would be, honestly, I think it would be separate away. It's something that you could still use kind of both tools. Because I think both are actually really useful on a site. But I think they're not combined. I mean, there's no way Icon works with drones right now.
Okay, and so if I'm I'm going to shift topics on you. So if I'm on a job site and for whatever reason I have to leave the site, come back tomorrow, day after, next day, whatever, does it allow me to come back and finish the work later on? In other words, are the measurements only real time, or can they be stored and recalled?
So you have everything stored. All you have to do, like the electrician, all you have to do is set up they're using a total station, set up the total station and have it go where, you know, you set that up so it knows positioning and where it is on the site. And then from there, you have your pole with the prism and the controller, and it'll just hit the next point and you just continue going on.
Okay, so we can leave the site, come back a day, a week, a month later and do our job.
Yeah.
Okay, so nothing has to be, I guess what I'm trying to say is nothing has to be locked into real time.
Nope, not at all.
Okay. So if you're measuring cut and fill, I guess it provides a report about what your excavation needs to be, and does it lay out the lines for your excavations for you as well?
Yeah, it'll tell you. So when you go through and you do a cut and fill, and you mark it out, it will give you a map and it'll show you kind of basically a heat map. So it'll tell you where you need to, where you need to fill, where you're going to cut from, how much, if any, you need, anything, any dirt you need to buy.
Okay. Good. I'm trying to think of what else I want to ask you to help people understand. I can see we've got Vincent and Fletcher. Did either one of you two have questions that we can answer for you? Or Dave, any of the above? I guess one of the last questions I would have is some of the tools like Infinity and Cyclone, holy cow, they need really serious computer hardware. Does Icon require the really powerful hardware to run?
Icon itself does not. Icon itself is going to be run on, you're either going to have it on your, basically your controller. No matter if you're running a total station or if you're running a GNSS receiver, you're going to have a controller attached to it. Everything's done on a tablet. You're going to import through, Civ 3D, or something like that. So yeah, you probably want something for that, but for Icon itself, you do not.
Okay, and you mentioned other tools. Is Icon compatible with other software? So can we take Icon's outputs and put them into Infinity or Cyclone, or maybe we're working in Pix4D or Carlson or other civil engineering tools?
I know it'll work well with like Civ 3D and things like that. I'm not aware, not that far where I don't know. So
okay. I'm just curious because again,
yeah.
I'm a total Icon neophyte. I've learned more from you in the last 15 minutes than I knew about Icon to get started with. So I think,
yes.
oh yeah, you sound like we had a question there, Fletcher?
Yes, hi, I do have a question. Thank you for having this webinar today. I log in for the RTEL Evos that you demonstrate most of the time. And I am taking an entry point into construction as for 3D and mapping using aerial photography.
Okay.
And I'd like to know, would I find use in this program to help in the construction of pre-planning, time-lapse phases when I come in so often, about 3-4 times a month to do an aerial shot? And would this help me communicate better with the contractors or developers? Is this something I should look into? Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here. So I think from what I understand is for the most part, you're using like drones to kind of see the progression of a site. And can you take that and bring it in? Icon, is that going to be something you can work with? Icon, you'll be able to kind of position things. It's more in the building process. It's more for like builders. You can verify points. So as you're building, as they're building, you can kind of verify how things are, the points, and if, things are, online on, but as far as the input, I think for the most part, it sounds like what you're doing is more, from what I understand, kind of more of a strictly drone thing. The Icon's going to be more for just, putting where things are and then verifying that when things are made, it's being made correctly, to the points,
So Adam, would it be safe to say that for someone like Fletcher, who's operating predominantly with an aerial device or another, the drone, that Infinity or Cyclone would be a lot more applicable to what he's wanting to do?
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably, being able to work into something like that. I'm going to say yeah.
And so Fletcher, I would recommend that you look at Leica Cyclone or Leica Infinity, or even Pix4D. Kuker-Ranken also has Pix4D available. And for progress reporting and for onion skinning or layering, I think any one of those tools would be a little bit more applicable. Icon is tied more to hardware that's on the job site, as opposed to being something that ingests virtually any kind of data. So at that point, I'd recommend, again, Leica, Cyclone or Infinity. And, we can get you set up with either one of those tools or Pix4D, which is a pretty common one. In fact, we have a Pix4D demo coming up here very, very soon. And then you can see the KR admin. If you look in the chat box, the KR admin has just provided a link to Cyclone and where you can find that on the Kuker-Ranken website. So thank you for the question, Fletcher. Can we answer anything else for you, Fletcher, or for Vincent, either one of you two?
Not at all. That was great. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Point me in the right direction. Thank you.
We're glad you're here with us today, Fletcher. All right. Any other questions from anybody? It looks like we're pretty well reaching the end of our allotted time. David, did you have any further questions, or I can ask for you, either one? And Vincent, if you'd rather, you can chat a question over, and I'm happy to ask one, or ask it for you. Either one.
Yeah, I have a quick question. There's it's not in relation to here, but there's a next seminar that was rescheduled from the 15th to the 29th. I'm just verifying.
Yeah, we have another one next week.
Construction.
The KR admin, can you tell us what I know we have a bye week coming up here. I think it's the 21st, just a moment. Yeah, so Fletcher, next week we will not be having a lunch and learn, but on the 28th we do have a lunch and learn. And then on July 19th, we are doing I'm going to ask the admin to put a link in there. On July 19th, which is why we have a bye on the 21st, on the 19th, we're doing a 45-minute presentation on RTK on the job site, and the link for that has just been placed in your chat. And that will be related entirely to the Autel RTK Pro. So that is a great tool for construction sites or working with AEC or civil engineering, GIS professionals, et cetera. So that's on Monday, the 19th, Fletcher, and you can register for that at the link that the admin has just put into the chat box. And then on the 28th, we're going to be doing a webinar on Revit and the building information modeling software and how Revit can work with the Leica Cyclone and Pix4D and Leica Infinity and so forth. And so how we can take outputs from those Leica tools and drop them into BIM tools like Revit and how that works. That's a really exciting one because many people are intimidated by Revit and they don't understand that we can take outputs from some of the other softwares and drop them directly into Revit, which becomes a real important part of our BIM book or our output book when we turn a job site over to the building owner or building managers.
I am excited. Thank you. Go ahead.
Well, thanks for being with us, Fletcher. We're happy to have you be part of the KR family. And you can also check out the KR Facebook page. And I'm not sure if you're on a mailing list or not, Fletcher, but if you're not, if you just want to drop a private note to me, I'm Douglas at krinc.net, or to Adam at I believe it's Huff.
Yep, Huff
at krinc.net. We'll make sure that we get you into the Kuker-Ranken mailing list so that you can be notified by email of all of the different webinars that are coming up.
Yeah.
With that, I think, Adam, that brings us right to an ideal close for our webinar. Thank you very much. You gave us some really good information here. We look forward to your next icon presentation that's not quite scheduled yet. But thank you, everyone, for joining in and spending a little bit of time with us. I'm Douglas from Kuker-Ranken with Adam Huff from KR, and we're thankful to our admin for making sure all the links went in there. Our admins just put in the Kuker-Ranken phone number and our email addresses in your chat box down there. We'll go ahead and leave those up for just a minute before we end here so that you can copy and paste that over. And we look forward to seeing you at our event on Monday, where we'll be going through real-time kinematic or RTK systems on drones, specifically focused on the Autel Evo 2 Pro RTK. And if you're interested in RTK drones, period, we've got RTK drones from either DJI or from Autel. So we've got a selection of 4 or 5 different products that we'd be very happy to share information with you.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for spending the time. And until next Monday, safe travels.